Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of On the Block. Today there is Szymon from our team in consulting. Hey Szymon.
Thank you for the invitation. Nice to meet you.
I think this is the first time we actually meet in On the Block together.
You remember this first recording that we did together?
Oh yeah, okay.
It wasn't like conversation, like live conversation, yes, but when it comes
to that, it was educational.
Yeah.
Okay, and the first pretty much interview, but still about the industry, technology, and trends.
Well, we'll see how I can help. Let's hope.
And let's start with a bit of introduction of yourself. You have been with us for how long?
More than 2 years.
Okay.
More than 2 years.
And yes. You work as a business analyst?
Yes, I work as a business analyst. I work with different projects. Of course, 2 main projects under my belt that are continuously developed, but also many consultations, other smaller projects with consulting. As each of us in consulting have a specialty, and we support each other with specific knowledge and insight on different industries in different technologies, and also how to provide the team with the best assistance as we work with people, not with machines.
Of course, and I actually think that projects that you are leading are currently one of the biggest ones, or the biggest ones at Espeo.
Big words, definitely. I don't know if they are the biggest, but I understand what you want to say. When it comes to our own solutions that we provide to the clients, you could say that. I know there are bigger projects when it comes to revenue, but yes, those 2 consequently are the biggest when it comes to own solutions that we provide to the clients, that we help them create, help them to design the product, to enter the market, to create strategy, but also to support them with knowledge, because they are not always from finance, not always from technology. They have some overlapping experience and industry coverage, but our depth and understanding of vast options, because when it comes to, you work with payments and specific automotive brand with specific product, but knowledge of stablecoins, of wallets, of how payment industry work in Europe or over the world, how to optimize cross-border payments. If you're a global company or European company, this is something that is important to you.
Yeah.
And if you are not fintech, if you don't have financial background, you can benefit from our expertise. As even if I don't have full knowledge, our architect have, maybe Agnieszka or someone else from our team have. So nice. The biggest, but also, a lot of people are engaged, even if officially on the payroll there is X people, there is so many more people that assist us, share knowledge, and just help us.
Yeah, these are definitely complex projects. And regarding stablecoins, blockchain, and fintech industry, in the past few months, you have been working on the new DLT report.
Yes.
Can you give us a bit of an intro? Like, what's the reasoning behind it? What's the report itself?
The thing is, you can use reports from big companies like Ernst & Young, IBM, government-related reports, SWIFT reports. But then when it comes to organization and how to manage projects, how to approach them, if you're a decision maker or manager or someone like that, at the end of the day, you are alone. Yes, you have coworkers, you have people you can exchange ideas with, but you don't know how other organizations work.
Yeah.
You don't know the perspective of people from opposite of the other side of the table, like between executive directors, managers, and those who write the code. Because when you work with projects, also with blockchain projects like me, you can see there is a big difference. As an analyst, as a proxy product owner, I'm connecting different parties. Also, I have this background of sociology. And we noticed that there is niche to provide consequential, like year-to-year data on perspective of feelings of people from the industry, executives, managers, specialists, with different experience with the technology, to create feedback from community. Not only someone said on Reddit, not only someone said at the conference, but also some feedback from people who succeeded with the projects. For example, there is very interesting perspective from one of participants from Brazil, but also failures and things that didn't work, because it's not like, there is this hype, or was, I think there is still, over the blockchain, cryptocurrencies. But if you want to be serious about that, about the return of investment, about making life easier or impacting anything for more than like brief moment, like seconds when it comes to history, you need to dig deeper, because it's not like it's a magic solution. Instead, if you treat it as a magic solution, if it is a buzzword for you, there is more than plenty examples. You will harm yourself. You will fail, and it will be painful. And in many of those cases, it will be too painful to try again.
Okay, so your goal was to create a sort of backbone for stakeholders, for people taking decisions in development of technology and their business models regarding finance, blockchain, payments, that sort of like stable coins, and to actually have the full range of insights from different industries, within different roles, within different organizations, so they can get the most feedback, the most insight, and the biggest perspective they could from the market. Is that correct?
I would say, instead of backbone, compass. Because what the rest is right. The thing is, you have all this knowledge from different companies, from different institutes, researchers, all of that. At the end of the day, you're alone, maybe with AI agent, but let's not count them. At the end of the day, you're alone, and when you want to have a rational decision, it's good to have this point of reference. How the others look at the technology, how the others feel about the technology, and where I am when it comes to demography, organization, and what I can learn, and how should I learn from others' perspective. It's not easy, but I feel it gives what you said. If I am from different teams, different roles, different industries, and if I can get insight from people with whom I work with, but I can't just go into their shoes and know it, because everyone is different, at least there is this average. Yes, the number of participants isn't that big, but it's a good reference point, good starting point to have a feeling, how does it work with other people.
Regarding real life implementations, experience, and maybe failures that you mentioned, So you're stating that there is this shift on the market because these topics have been around for a significant time already, and the switch is regarding the actual implementation. So many companies were doing like research and development, testing things around, but like these days we see more and more real implementations in this field. Is that correct?
Oh boy, where do we start? How much time do we have?
5 hours?
Okay, I will try to be brief. To touch this on a high level, maybe we will go to some details of some of those projects.
So we can definitely see a switch on the market from a phase when there were so many investments and projects within DLT, and we felt that many of these are just R&D or just more like a PR, that sort of projects that companies wanted to have, but
Golden Grace.
Yeah.
No, Holy Grace, sorry.
Yeah, and but it was more like they also wanted to showcase that they are working on specific technologies, right? So we actually felt that maybe they were not that much interested in implementing these in real life, and then something switched, and we see more and more projects that were implemented and are still working.
Yeah. No. It's the simplest answer, but why? The shift that happened in 2025 is regulations happened. In the past, many said, okay, we can't work with this technology because of regulations and things like that or other things. But stablecoins, they don't care. And just regulators just went in, said, okay, you can work, but within these frameworks. And everything went like, whoa. Suddenly the numbers increased significantly, but also we started to register them. In many cases, for example, South America or some other countries, this cash flow in stablecoins was live quite early in quite high volumes. So the thing is, yes, we have many successful projects that come to life. Yes, there were projects that were advocated for, and they were these buzzwords. Everyone have blockchains, so we will have blockchain too. But then strategic perspective of board of directors, executives, investors, and perspective of managers who work with technology or have feedback or better connection with clients, but they don't have this strategic outlook. And then people who work with technology from technical side, those perspectives are not aligned, not yet. It's better than in past years. We can see this shift. But what we also can see is this connection between understanding the technology and making strategic decisions is very crucial for the projects to succeed. Otherwise, we can learn from others' experience that projects were brought to light as POCs, MVPs, and they weren't able to reach the market, reach the production environment, because they will failed in the bedrock, in the foundation. Their foundation was wrong, because this software, this blockchain technology, it is designed to bring trust, mutual trust between parties that participate. And if you want to force yourself as a dominating partner in this network, or if you want to keep not balanced or wrongly balanced rights, permissions in private networks, or you feel like public networks are like golden solution to anything because they are globally distributed, decentralized, globally decentralized. Like those big networks, and anyone from all the world can copy the chain and maintain it with their own node, and to like provide auditability and immutability of the chain. It feels and sounds very good, but when it comes to implementation, this misalignment between those three groups creates issues, problems. And we have more and more, like even our last year report shown that exposure to success stories, to successful products, successful projects increased perspective, positive perspective, perception of the technology, but also number of project itself increased this perspective, as those people who didn't stop at first failure, but tried again and again, they found a way to make it work for them. And what we see here right now in 2025 with stablecoins is a breakthrough because there are regulations. Is one thing. The other thing, people and companies that did it right, that learned their lessons, they came through. Those early adopters, maybe 5% of them, maybe 1% of them, I'm not sure. They went through, they are here, and they will grow. And based on them, others will come.
I think the ultimate result of each of these projects and alignment between all of these roles and departments, what you described, is the end ROI. And I'm curious about your perspective. Especially, we also discussed tokenization earlier, and like where do you actually see the biggest ROI in tokenization on the current market?
This really tricky question, as I don't think there is one like I could point you to. Like general solution, it's okay. We have quite successful examples from energy sector when it comes to CO2 certificates or renewable energy solutions. This one thing. It works pretty well. Other than that, we just take it as an example and we try to find a way to optimize our internal processes or offering to our clients. And you don't need blockchain technology to do this, in fact, because when it comes to fractionalized ownership, you don't need blockchain for that. Yes, like there are like Robinhood or other companies, brokers that allow you to buy stock in fractionalized ownership. So you don't need tokenization. There's a lot of things that it's easier to do without tokenization. So where I see value in tokenization is to sit down, think, okay, what added value I can bring with this token? What is there with mutual trust, with auditability, with decentralized database? What it can bring to the product that I want to create? And there's no one answer. We can see real estate working with it. We can see some compliance products that allow us to bring automatic regression when it comes to insurance with quite good history. Like, okay, after 5 years, your machine that costs $15 million that was created for this specific place, this specific facility, and you need to track it down to find out who is responsible, whose insurance should cover it. Or maybe it's a fault from factory, not it wasn't created on site. We don't know it today. It's very hard to find out. But this auditability and tokenization of some documents, for example, here, it's really not easy to talk about this. You really need to sit down and to think, because what does it give you that this data, these tokens and information about those tokens, ownership or anything like that, what decentralization and this mutual trust give you?
So where do you see this value? Like, what would be in your opinion, the best case in 2026 when it comes to tokenization, where it actually makes sense, where it adds value?
Okay, so for example, when it comes to, let's say, marine vessel, a tanker, cargo, anything else. There is insurer, there is port agent, there is owner of the vessel, owner of the cargo. All of them want to have auditable data, and you can get it with blockchain because all parties have the same data. Maybe they don't have all data, but all that interest them, that cover their field of interest.
The system is trustless.
Yeah, everyone can audit everyone else because it's on blockchain. There are ways to find out. And yes, you can tokenize a lot of this compliance. It's not just tokenization that people usually think of, because usually you think about this real estate that you can tokenize and you can buy fraction of this real estate and track who was owner, who is owner. You can track revenue of the investment. So it's great. You're buying real estate. Someone wants to sell it for you. Like, look, it's great investment. Look, for the past years, average ROI per year was 15%, 300%, I don't know. And if you want to show such data with tokenization in real estate, it's great. But again, it's not necessary to use tokenization and blockchain here. You need to sit back down and think, okay, am I ready to provide my possible clients with data that not always everyone wants to show, because there are errors there, there are failures, there are years that weren't so successful. Maybe there is only 1 year where you had like 1000% of revenue, return of investment, and all other years were 10%. So the average, people will be able to check you.
So
to find out,
like extreme transparency.
Yes, it's extreme transparency, and you can lie, but it
don't
won't.
do it.
Yeah, don't do it.
It's not nice to lie.
What I mean is, yes, you can lie, but it will harm you even more, because if someone will check you, and they will, if they're adults when it comes to their money, your career in the industry is very short, because no one will buy from you. Your credibility is below floor. Yeah.
Like, what's your opinion on how many projects fail not because of technology itself, but because of the following costs of implementations, of integrations?
No, but one leads to another.
Yeah.
I think like it's 50-50 around, because the thing is that both parties, like technical teams, engineers, have their knowledge, and they provide it to stakeholders, to decision makers, and decision makers have their own understanding of the technology, of what it gives and how it brings value to the table. This is very important. Like differentiating, like in long-term strategy for engineers and like people who produce the solution, write the code, is the data perspective is very different from stakeholders who look not only on this year, they look also on competition, on go-to-market value and how to go. They need to go through compliance, legal, through marketing, all those things that they need to coordinate. And obviously, they have little knowledge when it comes to technical aspects. And sometimes what we say when it comes to coordinating marketing and software production, finance, legal, those are completely different things because those people didn't had occasion to talk about it yet. So there is misalignment. All of those parties, both technical issues, costs skyrocket because feedback from stakeholders, from participants of the project, from legal, marketing, was different that at the beginning of the project because everyone had other image of the solution. And the same when marketing or legal or stakeholders come with idea to engineers, technical teams, again, okay, marketing talked with engineers, they had this understanding of each other, or legal talked with engineers and they have this mutual understanding. And then third, fourth party stakeholders join the picture. And we have skyrocketing issues, skyrocketing costs. This technology is new, is successful, can bring great return of investment in 100%, in 1000%. But on the other hand, it can drown you.
And how is a Genius Act a game changer for stablecoins?
It makes it illegal to use it.
Okay.
So that's diplomatic.
As simple as that.
Yeah, because if you would like to jump deeper into that, if you analyze how it is designed and how it affects ownership of cash, like what you have in deposits and in bank and you're ready to like liquidize. Yeah, if you look at that, you see different value for government, for the market, for anything. And when it comes to usability, it changes nothing other than it's legal. And you have, and in that, it's very, very, very clear. You can use it if you meet those expectations. It's great. There is no problem. Just it's $1-to-1, $1. One stablecoin dollar, $1 in fiat.
Okay. And citing your words from the report, like what do you mean that boring infrastructure wins?
Because it's very simple when it comes to stablecoins. When it comes to technology, it's the simplicity of the solution is also the brilliance of this solution, and boring because it's just cross-border payments and saving money on cross-border transfers, but also domestic ones, making it very fast, very easy to proceed with. So yeah, like it's the fireworks of this solution is in return of investment. But when it comes to technicalities, actually anyone can have stablecoins, and there are frameworks to do it quite easily out of success stories. And there is so many companies right now that jump into this. Most of them will fail, or someone will buy them some bigger players like Stripe.
So like stable coins are not really a fancy tech anymore.
I don't know if not fancy, because when you are talking to bank, it can be fancy for them.
Okay.
The thing is, it is boring because there's only one use for it. Not only one, but it was
mainly one.
Yeah, mainly one. Yes, it's about fixing fees for money transfers.
Regarding Stripe, is actually Stripe Bridge the new archetype of success in your opinion?
No, I don't think so. Looking to feedback from some opinions, some feedback from smaller companies that don't understand how to use Stripe, they can harm themselves when using this product. But it's not only about Stripe, but all as a fintech and the delayed payments in general. So yes, this architecture will be dominant, but it's not the only answer. There is still room for innovation, like the idea of democratization of finance, of making things distributed, less concentrated, that the capital is not in hands of one organization, one entity. I don't believe that we'll have this full democratization and everyone will share, will have the same access to this tech, or can participate in the network on the same level. The full democratization and distribution, decentralization, no one can control it but community. I don't believe it will happen when it comes to global finance. On the other hand, there is still a lot more that companies like Stripe could achieve if they would choose that they would like to capitalize such virtues like this decentralization, like participation of network members. They could capitalize it, or other company could do this. But for now, Stripe is one of the examples how to do it.
Let's play a little game. Let's imagine that you're at the board of directors at the big bank, and there is this one decision in front of you that you need to take, left or right, stablecoins or tokenization. What do you choose and why?
If I have to choose one,
yes,
I think I would go through stablecoins. And why? First of all, I would go into blockchain at all. This is one thing that I would do it because we need to learn. Competition do this, so we need to at least achieve knowledge. Next, I wouldn't build a new solution. It's very easy right now to use a solution that was created by certified providers like Firebox. You can easily implement such technology with stablecoins and other solutions to your bank. And yes, it can be optimized. You can create some of own solutions so you won't be dependent so much on Fireblocks or similar solutions. So it's very easy to implement, and your focus is my focus would be to make those people from specific departments with specific roles to work with these teams, with these solutions, and to learn what it is. Because stablecoins with platform like Fireblocks is very simple to implement. It's very clear how does it work. And when you have this connection, off-ramp, on-ramp, when it comes to stablecoins, you have opening for all other aspects of finance and cryptocurrencies and tokenization. I quite like the idea how we can achieve new demography as bank, like younger people when it comes to investment and savings. And based on stablecoins on Rails, that Fireblocks or other solution that let us use stablecoin. Maybe we have ISO 20022 and solutions based on that. But yes, stablecoins are opening, and it build knowledge, know-how in the organization. And based on that, couple of departments, marketing, legal, security, tech, they all learn more, but also how they understand the blockchain itself, stablecoin itself. And when they have a bit of common ground, they can work on more ambitious projects.
And the last question for you for today, what would you say is the biggest myth the industry keeps on saying?
Oh my.
Okay, thank you for today's meeting.
Yeah, I think the biggest myth about blockchain technology is that it's Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Because no, because Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are decentralized information, decentralized storage of value. And yes, it is volatile, but even with this volatility, there is also liquidity of this tool. It has specific usability. Specific companies, specific investor funds, they look at this solution to their own utility. They use it in their own way. And the myth is, okay, those are just volatile investment and some payments like Bitcoin and Ethereum and things like that. Like, yeah, you just buy them and wait, they will go up. Okay, you sell, they go down, you buy. And
so that's a correlation, automatic correlation for many that blockchain means crypto, right?
Yes.
That's not correct. Blockchain is not only crypto, of course, it's related to the cryptocurrencies in the technology layer, but blockchain is much more. It's also, there's private, there's permissioned blockchain, there's institutional grade
I would
products.
say blockchain is a thing that creates cryptocurrencies, that makes it happen that you can have product like cryptocurrency. Without blockchain, it would be impossible, because creation of such solution that is volatile, but also have other auditability, things like that, and can be used for investment. There was many like that, but when it comes to blockchain, it gives you unique technology to support this, and this is the change. The blockchain, the trust, distribution of information, auditability, not cryptocurrencies itself.
Szymon, thank you so much for today. Thank you, our listeners. We highly recommend to download our DLT report that Szymon put a lot of months in, a lot of work with our partners and other consultants. It's highly valuable for people interested in blockchain and different business models that blockchain can support.
You will learn at least something, I hope, that it will bring value to you. I thank you, Przemek, for those words of encouragement. I just hope it will give you any insight into the industry.
Thank you so much, and see you in the next On the Block.
Thank you.